Welcome to this new video. I am the PC Collector, and in today's review I'm bringing you this, which is one of my oldest machines, or well, better say what it remains of it, because as you can see, this Toshiba machine has pretty much been crumbling as of late, like most Toshiba machines of that time. This machine has already been featured in my restoration series. If you want to watch it, you have the link here in the corner to the first part. If you did watch that video, you probably noticed that the screen failed completely at the end of the last part of the video, which has contributed to their status, because if you see, this here is a plastic staple, because when I open the case to repair the screen, to replace the failing backlight of the screen, the case pretty much crumbled to dust. I mean, so by now it's pretty much sustained by a massive amount of plastic staples and hot glue keeping it together. But yeah, I've decided to feature this machine in the review series before it crumbles completely, because unlike other people doing this kind of videos, I don't have the means to get a new case printed for this. When the case gets eventually completely destroyed, it's pretty much game over for this machine, because I don't have the means to repair it. So let me try to keep it together with the staples and hot glue. And yeah, you can also see here earlier repair using epoxy, because at this point you can see it is cracked here, it is cracked here, the case is also cracked over here, the parent rest is also pretty much destroyed, cracked, and it cracked on the middle, and you can see the plastic staples keeping it together. Yeah, it's a machine which I'm not sure how long will last, so I want to feature it in the series before it inevitably dies. So this said, this is the Toshiba T2130CT from late 1995, a fairly low-end machine, as you can see, among other things, from the evidently outdated case, but the fact that it is evidently a very low-end machine is more evident on its specs. Let's see if I can show it without it crumbling. You can see here the PCMC slots. Yeah, the cover is also broken. The printer port, you can see here another missing part. The AC input, it has an internal power supply unit, which is here. The VGA port, the serial port, and the mouse port, the keyboard port. Unlike other machines of the time, you can only put a keyboard there, not a mouse. Yeah, you can see how the case doesn't even fit anymore. Yeah, it also broke here. I had to put another staple here to keep it in place. The floppy, which doesn't completely properly fit, because I have to replace it, because this machine uses a non-standard floppy, so I have to replace it by whatever I had, which however I could. The machine has a a full-size keyboard for notebooks, without the numeric block, of course, and sometimes something similar to IBM's TrackPoint. It works fairly well, I have to admit it. Although the dispositions of the buttons is kind of weird, you know, instead with those separate buttons, and the fact that the palm rest doesn't fit anymore because of how destroyed it is, it doesn't help. You'll see that there's a missing screw, but the screws are irrelevant anymore. The other is merely ornamental because, yeah, all the anchors of the case disintegrated when I opened it to repair the screen. But well, this machine debuted in, if I recall correctly, November 1995, and yeah, by that time it was, I'm not sure if I would say the absolute lowest end, but barely. The machine features an Intel IDX4 CPU running at 75 MHz, which already tells you that it is a low-end machine for the time. And that is further reinforced by the fact that it doesn't have any level 2 cache. There was 3 versions of this machine: the 2110CS, the 2130CS, and the 2130CT, which is this model. They were all pretty much the same. They all have the 75 MHz Intel DX4, the Chips and Technologies video card, the 65545, which 1 megabyte of VRAM, capable of 640 by 480 this resolution display. The machine has no sound adapter, just the PC speaker, further reinforcing it as a low-end machine. It offers only 300 megabyte or 500 megabyte hard drives, 4 megabyte standard RAM in the 2010, and 8 megabyte on the 2030. The only difference between the 2030 CS and the 2030 CT is that for some reason they decided to give the CT a TFT screen instead of the DSTN screen of the rest of the models. So all in all, is a pretty basic machine. The machines could have memory expansions, but they were non-standard Toshiba proprietary memory expansions with size of 4, 8, 16 or 24 megabyte for a total of 28 megabyte on the 2010 and 32 megabyte on the 2030. It's worth mentioning that despite the sizes of the basic hard drives, the BIOS supports significantly larger drives, assuming that the enhanced IDE controller is active in the BIOS, which by the way is surprisingly basic, to the point that I haven't managed to figure how to configure the real-time clock on this machine. With all that said, it's time to get it running. So one of the things which gave me more trouble when restoring this was trying to get the a CD-ROM drive to work on this. I finally managed to get it running. You might notice some trace of some rays on the screen. That's because of the method I have to use to replace the backlight. I just replaced the original tube of the original fluorescent lamp by a strip of LEDs. I just got a 5 volts LED stripe and connected it directly to the inverter DC input of the to get it powered. and as you can see, the result is decent enough. Yes, I'm not using the default shell for Windows 3.1. This machine was served with Windows 3.1, and I in fact use the factory. These systems. That's why the system is in English, despite my usual fixation on using localized versions of DOS and Windows. But yeah, like your typical Windows 3.1 interface, you have something more close to Windows 95, which Calmira I aim to do. Yeah, I have here a couple of games I use to test the machine in the other video. This machine is not really something you can do much with. I mean, it's a capable DOS machine. Has in this case it has 60 megabytes of RAM. The driver, I think, is compatible with DOS, so a machine will work for that. In fact, I'm going to say that the main saving grace of this screen is the TFT screen. In fact, I'm going to just run a couple of classic games, so you can. I'm going to run Doom really quick. Yeah, of course. You have PC speaker because this. As you can see, the image is clear. The game runs fine. So unlike other lower machines from the era, you can fully use it. Oh my god, what noise! Unlike other machines of the similar era, you can fully use it for those games, as long as you don't mind not having sound, is having only the PC speaker. I also have another example, which is the Tristan Pinball, which is a classic. Yeah. Say it's a classic 2D pinball. This pinball is supposed to be usable with actual sound cards, but I've never managed to do that, even on Windows 95 or Windows 98. So yeah, it's a kind of. It's another kind of game you can use. But the reality is different. The reality for this machine is that despite having the saving grace of the screen, the problem is, you know that I usually give tips for in case you are thinking of getting one of those machines. But Honestly, in this case, the only advice I can give you about this machine is to just avoid it. Just avoid it. I mean, if you are looking for a Windows 3.1 or those machine, just look elsewhere. Although I won't deny that the screen of this machine is definitely a plus, the thing is that everything else is just a no. This was an outdated machine which had a terrible case with materials of terrible quality, which by now will crumble. If you get one of those machines as much as it sneeze next to it, it will disintegrate. It has a mediocre video card you can find on lots of other machines. It has no sound card. It uses non-standard parts which you'll find no replacement for. The floppy drive is belt driven, so if you get one of those machines, there's an enormous chance that the floppy drive is dead, and you won't find a replacement because the floppy drive doesn't use the standard connector but the industrial connector, which means that those drives, that functional drives with that connector, are worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars because they are highly sought for the industrial machines which need them. You'll find no memory expansions, although for those or Windows 3.1 is enough with the onboard memory. I also have to praise how easy it is to replace the hard drive, with no BIOS issues or limitations like the ones you can find on IBM machines. But there's the thing, the problem is that this machine won't do anything that literally any other machine of the same era wouldn't be able to do. So if you are looking for a DOS laptop, my honest advice is to look elsewhere. Unless you specifically have any kind of sentimental attachment to this series, just avoid it. There's no real reason to use this machine instead of any other machine of the same era. But even that, if you really want one of those, my best advice: first, make sure that the floppy drive work, but be advised that it might die at any moment because the belt is of an awful quality and will just eventually liquefy, and be prepared for the fact that it will inevitably crumble because of the terrible quality of the plastic Toshiba used. I don't really can give you any positive advice or say any positive thing about this machine because, except maybe the screen, which on machines of this level you won't usually find TFT screen. Problem is that might have been a plus in 1995. As of right now, any machine of a similar era you can find for a similar price probably will work way better than this machine. There's simply no objective reason to buy one of those instead of literally any other machine of the same type. So yeah, the point of this series is making reviews, and I have to be as honest and objective as I can. Well, the machines I review, and so my best advice with this model is simply to avoid it. If in the case you have one, well, the good news I can give to you is that despite not using the standard connector, the connector is pin compatible, which means that with a lot of tedious and high precision work, you can adapt the cable to work. As in, you can manually connect the original cable to a standard one, and it will work. It's how we fix it. Is how we fix the floppy drive on this machine. As you can see, the floppy drive works perfectly. Another advice is, if you get one of those, replace the hard drive as soon as possible, no matter if it works or not, because those drives were awful. So just get yourself an ID to compact flash or to SD and replace the original drive. Well, this is all I have to say about this machine. I hope that you have liked this review, and I hope to see you on the next one.